Welcome back and thank you for keeping it NTV. You're still watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, with this week's release of S4 exam results, the country has officially transitioned from the traditional division-based grading system to a competency-based assessment. What do these changes mean for students, teachers, and the future of the education? We turn to St. Kizito High School Namugongo head teacher Kazibwe Ezekiel, whose students performed well in these exams, and we ask how these results will be assessed for joining Senior 5. Good evening to you, Mr. Kazibwe, and thank you for joining us on NTV.
Good evening, Mildred.
It is a pleasure to have you.
I'm also happy. I'm honored.
Yes, and so let us start with briefly explaining to us what the competency-based grading system entails and how does it differ from the traditional division-based grading system that many of us were used to or many of us had to go through.
Actually, this new curriculum is called the competency-based curriculum, and therefore, in assessment, they are assessing the level of competency for the particular student. They are assessing the competency in applying the knowledge and skills. So they are assessing in terms of A, B, C, D, and E. A student getting A, that one is considered an exceptional, meaning that this student has extra knowledge, has extra level of competency in applying the knowledge and skills. Then we have B, that student has high level of competency in applying the knowledge and skills. Then we have C, that one has adequate knowledge and competency in applying the knowledge and skills acquired. Then we have D. This one has a minimum level of competency in applying the knowledge and skills. We have D. This one has below basic knowledge. So a student with A and B, we can say they have excelled. And those are students who are having the high and extraordinary. Okay. Then also the C, they have passed well. Then the D, just at the boundary. Then the D, the E, they are below. Okay. So, so now, just to throw more light, still engaging on that, yes. There have been persistent complaints, especially from parents and of course some schools as well, who previously were understanding that Division 1 or Division 2 indicates that you know, somebody has scored between 90 and 80, 70 and 60 and so forth, and that would sort of give them a picture of how their child has performed. And so without this, how are they able? You mentioned the A and B, but because we are stuck in the old curriculum, how is the person able to tell that my child has succeeded? Actually, this time we have result 1, we have result 2, result 3 and 4. Result 1 means this student have passed and can get a certificate at UNEBO offer a certificate. Those are result 1. Then result 2, those are students who have not satisfied. Those are students who have passed, but they will not be given a certificate. Then the other grade, like 3, those have not passed the required level of achievement. With result 1, those qualify for A level. Yeah.
Okay, and so now how does this shift from division rankings to later benefit the learners especially?
Actually, this assessment, as we shall learn it, and the other parents and all the stakeholders, it is very good because it is progressive in nature, because during the course of study, we have the cumulative assessment, the progressive, that always the schools send per class from senior 1 up to senior 4. UNEB receives that other cumulative assessment. Then we have project. By the time we get to the end of the cycle, the student at least has 80. This reduces on the failure rate, because initially it was so unfair because the student was assessed for 100% in just 2 hours, 3 hours, 1.5, which was unfair. This time, there is, whatever the student is doing in class, it is assessed. And also it is added on the end of cycle exams, which is great. To make it very easy for the parents to understand, if your child got A, B, and C, those are okay. And the schools will base on the A, B, and the C to press them for the combinations at A level. And I know preferably the A, B will be preferred in choosing the arts and science combination at A level. Meaning that the student with the A and B, those ones will be ably pressed very well. Even as the C and D, they will also continue for A level. They challenge the students who mainly got the D and E. Those ones, according to this assessment, they are always encouraged to look for at least vocational and other technical institutions.
Okay.
But at least when you look at the grading, at least most of the students qualify. And it is fair because of that cumulative kind of assessment. It starts from senior 1, and by the end of the cycle, at least there is some marks that have been collected, and the failure rate will reduce. And
then staying on the same, I also want to know how St. Kizito High School Namugongo is going to be doing it when it comes to making selections for senior 5. You've already said that those that have made A, B, C will qualify. In the past, or in the traditional curriculum, a particular school would come up and say we are taking students with aggregates up to, say, 16, and then another school will come out and say our aggregates will be up to 20, 30, things like that. And so we'll just like to know, how is it going to be done this time round? Are they going to be counting the number of A's? Is St. Kizito going to come and say we are only taking students that have 5 A's, 2 B's, 3 B's? How is it going to be done?
Actually, students will be pressed, because I'm very aware that head teachers know what to do, and the schools. And I know, what I know very well is that the guidance and the guideline is very clear. Students with A, B, and C can be placed in combinations for A level, and the schools will base on that.
Okay.
That will be the basis of placement at A level. But what I want to assure the nation is that at least it has reduced the failure rate for students, and at least a big percentage of students there qualify.
Okay, and like you said, it has reduced the failure rate, and we did see most of the students performing exceptionally well. What are some of the strategies that a school like yours employed to ensure that the students pass? Actually, in this particular new curriculum?
Actually, we are lucky and blessed that as St. Kizito, we had started a curriculum which is resembling this one we are having earlier. That was in 2013. Actually, on realizing that there were gaps with skills in what we're giving to the students, we came up with our own school-based curriculum that we named the Holistic and Practical Skills Education Program, which is aimed at imparting skills and knowledge to the young ones. And there we have been imparting a number of skills like smart agriculture, mushroom growing, science and technology, fish farming, horticulture, among others. And we have been emphasizing project-based. So by the time the new curriculum came, we embraced it. And the kind of program we had was resembling exactly what was introduced by government. And so it was very easy. Students were doing most of the work on their own, guided by the teacher, and it became easy. That is why they even excelled in these exams. Okay. They did not find any difference. It became very easy.
In your view, what do you think are some of the challenges that have emerged from this transition? Because we did see some of the schools actually failing to embrace or failing to catch up with the new curriculum.
Actually, when you analyze this new curriculum, it's very good. And it will be very good for the Ugandans and the nation as a whole. We need schools and the other stakeholders. We're in the process of implementing, because these were the pioneer students. It was the first assessment, national assessment. We are going to have several other assessments, and every assessment will, at least we shall see an improvement. And I know people will learn. Even this curriculum at least has taken 4 years. So far, this is the 5th year, meaning that it is getting to 5 years old. And parents, they are out there, especially the parents who had their students in those new curriculum classes. Some of them have the knowledge, although the difference is there are some, especially the whole of Uganda, not all people know, but some parents who had students in the senior 1, senior 2 last year in that kind of curriculum, they are aware because they have been getting reports. And these reports we have been giving, at least we have been trying to explain. Even we have been using the low marks versus the A's and B's, showing them what the A's mean, the B mean, the C, so they have been aware. So it's not a challenge to them.
Okay. Those
who have been educating and those who are having those students, at least they have knowledge because they have been getting those reports during the other assessments we have been giving at school level.
You know, but like in your interaction with, you know, other schools,
yes.
What, maybe by any chance, did they get to tell you what are some of the challenges that they have faced when it comes to transitioning to this new curriculum?
Actually, I happen to be head of head teachers in our region, Chira municipality, and I've interacted with a number of head teachers. Some, the challenges is they mainly complain about is expensive. It is so practical that you have to engage students in skills. The students have to, it is student-centered. And with the student-centered learning, it requires a lot of materials so that they can learn. So they are facing a challenge of material because it is, they are complaining that it's expensive. But of course, with the time, they have learned. Because at first, we used to look at things away, but now we can use the things within our environment. Okay.
And so how do you think some of the challenges that you've highlighted can be addressed to better, you know, the practical learning of the students?
Actually, my advice to stakeholders, the head teachers and schools, we can use our environment because our environment is very good and we can even get material. And when you pick out the materials from the environment, it makes it very easy even for students to understand. Most of these materials can easily be accessed. We may not go so artificial. We can start with the local materials that are easily available to address the issue of finance. And initially, people used to fear because of the expense, but you can look at the local environment and pick out the materials from the environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now the government says it has no answer for the candidates with result 2 and 3 and those who do not qualify for the UCE certificate, like you did mention that those that have result 2 and 3 will pass, but they do not qualify to get the certificate. What is the fate of these students? What happens to them after this? Because you know, right now perhaps they are somewhere frustrated and depressed that they are failures. What is their fate?
Actually, it is clear that according to the position, to what I know, these students are encouraged to join technical and vocational, and I know because it is too early. Government will make it clear, will come up with a clear stand on this, but at this moment they are advising them to try vocational and technical education. Okay.
All right, so finally, as you give us your closing remarks, how does this grading system, in your view, align with the future of Uganda's education as well as the global trends?
Actually, me as a person, I want to just, I want to say that this is a very good system, because when you look at this grading system, it is new. That is why we are looking at it with a lot of negativity, and it is having a lot of challenges. But I know with time when we learn, it will be very easy, because first of all, it will reduce the failure rate, and a person will be assessed for the whole 4 years, because initially it was so unfair. A student doing a subject who has done a subject for 4 years is assessed in 2 hours. In 2 hours, that student is judged that is whether it's bad or good. No, that was bad. It wasn't so fair.
So this one gives us more time.
But this one, there is progressive assessment, and I'm hearing that it will go on increasing, because at this time progressive assessment is at 20, but they are promising that it will go on increasing and it may even reach 50, which is fair to the students.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kazibwe Ezekiel. He is the head teacher of St. Kizito High School Namugongo, getting to break down for us and helping us to further understand the new grading system with the new competency-based curriculum. And with that conversation, we take a short break. When we return, we'll be hearing from the world of sport.